Hey Internet, Sergeant, welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And man, do we have an action-packed agenda for you today. We have new credit cards from Breeze Airways and Barclays. We have Visa and MasterCard finally giving up some ground potentially on those credit card swipe fees. We have Chase dropping a key Priority Pass benefit. Of course, we have Robinhood Gold, literally gold. And of course, we have the Hilton American Express Business Card refresh. All that and more. So, of course, if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, we will start lead off with Barclays, who we actually talked about last week on the second channel, Run on the Bank, where we do bank promotions. Barclays had a savings account bonus if you're interested in that, but they also have a new credit card, a co-branded credit card with Breeze Airways, who we have started talking about a little bit more as of late. Let's take a look at this and see what you're getting from Breeze and Barclays. Well, here you have it. Fun design credit card overall, I would say. It's not black, but it looks like a fun design. You're going to get an annual fee of $89. Multipliers, 10x back on nicer bundles and trip add-ons, or 5x when you buy and 5x when you fly. So kind of like a Citi Double Cash, one up front, then one when you pay type deal. I don't know much about their bundles, so if you do, feel free to jump in down below. 4x on the nice bundles, so a little bit less, but again, 2 back when you buy and 2 back when you fly. And then 2x on the no flex fares, again, the same split. 2x grocery stores, restaurants, and in-flight purchases, 1 back on everything else. Your benefits here, 75,000 anniversary points with $10,000 in spend a year. One-way bundle upgrade with each $15K in spend, priority boarding, complimentary Wi-Fi. The intro offer, you're looking at 50K points with 2K in spend within the first 90 days. So, there's your new card. Overall, I think this is a card that I'm knowing very little about Breeze Airways, to be blunt, is that it's trying to hedge and protect itself too much, so much so that beyond year number one, if you want that intro bonus, it's not really worth it. I mean, as you guys know, generally speaking, the annual fee is offset by anniversary. You just get the points. But to have to spend that much money to get the points, I guess luckily, getting your anniversary points and getting that, one-way upgrade for 15K in spend, it probably does, the spend still stacks, but it's still a lot of spend on top of an $89 annual fee card. I mean, why would it just be a one-way upgrade? Why wouldn't it be a round-trip upgrade? So I think they end up, the annual fee doesn't seem like a lot, but the amount of spend they're looking for, it makes this card feel like it's kind of cheaping out, trying to protect itself early on from anyone being able to take advantage of them in any way. So I really just don't think there's a lot here because of that. But again, if you've been flying Breeze or you know a little bit more about it, let us know down below. But as we have so much else to get to, that will be a quick hit. So if you are traveling and you are taking Breeze or any other airlines, you might have a Sapphire Reserve and you might get hungry along your travels. And you might think to yourself, well, I have a Priority Pass benefit that lets me eat some free food at certain places and airports. Well, at least you did, because Chase is removing the restaurant perk from the Sapphire Reserve's version of Priority Pass. Because if we look at this letter going out to folks, well, we can see what they're saying, and as of July 1st, 2024, you will no longer have access to restaurants, cafes, and markets participating in the Priority Pass Select network as part of the Priority Pass Select benefit associated with your card. That was a lot of words. Access to Priority Pass Select's network of lounges and other select airport experience is not impacted by this update. So there you have it. They're removing it. That will be for the Sapphire Reserve, the Ritz-Carlton, and I believe the JP Morgan Reserve as well. Which, again, the JP Morgan Reserve has to just be the worst, most laziest implementation of an ultra premium Halo type card within a brand. I mean, it's basically just the Sapphire Reserve, but even it's losing benefits. On one hand, I don't think it's that big of a deal to the masses. I don't think most people really knew about this, but I think it's a big deal because, as we've said for like almost 4 years now, the $550 fee is simply not justified on the Sapphire Reserve, especially when the Sapphire Preferred sits there, and for a lot less money, you get the vast majority of the same thing. The main thing you're missing is Priority Pass, but now Priority Pass gets a little bit worse, so you're missing even less for that savings. So I just don't think this is a card that can really afford to start chopping off benefits, honestly. It is also curious to say who actually broke it off. On one hand, are you these Priority Pass restaurants and things like that, and say, hey, look, people only ever come in here and like it's just going to be people like us who know about it, and they spend up to whatever the threshold is, and that's it. They don't spend anything else. We're basically just giving away food. Or is it Chase wanting to save some money? I don't know. Chase doesn't really seem like a money saver of sorts. They tend to blow through, especially their marketing budget. I mean, they blow through ink offers, business offers, personal offers, you name it. So I almost wonder if it just wasn't working for the folks in the Priority Pass network. Now, this benefit still does exist for Capital One. It's Visa Infinite card, and the UBS also has a Visa Infinite card as well. I think it's still there, believe it or not, on their Priority Pass. It doesn't really help a lot of people. So that is being removed. Again, I don't think Chase really needs to do it. That we need an update, or refresh of this card. So that definitely doesn't help. But let me know what the value you were getting from this and why you think they got rid of it. I think it might have been more Priority Pass in the restaurants within the program than anything else. But that's just my guess. Now, speaking of Visa Infinite cards, we've been talking at length about the war between retailers, merchants, and Visa and MasterCard, specifically the payment networks. Discover and American Express kind of get left out of it because they are, believe it or not, on the smaller side. We're talking about kind of duopoly of sorts. Well, these guys finally came to a settlement, and let's take a look at it because there are some very interesting points in this that we are, according to commenters on Reddit, starting to see the effects of almost immediately. And here we have it. So this is the Cliff Notes. We grabbed it from Reuters, but overall, when you read the announcement, it reads as like very quickly they had a $30 billion settlement, but really what they're saying is the concessions that Visa and MasterCard are throwing into retailers is worth about $30 billion over 5 years. So, lower swipe fee. They're going to lower swipe fees. Again, it's like processing fees by about 0.04 percentage points for each of the next 3 years. They're going to ensure an average rate that is 7 basis points below the current average for 5 years. They're going to cap rates for 5 years, remove anti-steering provisions. Stores have more room to offer discounts to add if you want to switch cards, right? If you historically you can't say, hey, we don't take American Express, or it's 5% more if you use a Visa Infinite or whatnot. You can do that now. And then both networks admit no wrongdoing. This is always a good. The corporate America's really doesn't like to admit wrongdoing. It's just funny. That's always the thing. Like, if you weren't wrong, then why did you change all these things? Well, so anyways, this sounds like Visa and MasterCard were just sitting there. It was like, you know what, fine, enough. We're going to make a ton of money anyways. Here, have your concessions. We're almost, the most interesting point to me is that stores can now push you towards moving away from Visa Infinite or maybe a MasterCard World Elite, or they can simply price in, the difference. I've seen a few Reddit comments. I'm talking about like 2 or 3 of folks that said, hey, as soon as this passed, they went to local establishments and they were saying, hey, it is a higher fee, a higher percentage fee for their Visa Infinite card. Again, there's not many Visa Infinite cards, but those more premium cards are usually known for having more in processing fees for whatever reason. It doesn't necessarily even make sense. So I can see why a store would be mad about that. Why does it cost you more to run an Infinite? I think it's more so because the payment network and all the payment benefits payment network benefits that come with an Infinite versus a Signature or a Visa Platinum. So that is probably the biggest one that we're going to see overall. That bill that Senator Durbin was trying to pass a while back, that they claimed that there was going to be savings for the consumer. There's going to be no savings for the consumer at all here. So I'd be interested to see how that plays out. Again, I think that the Visa and MasterCard just kind of threw up their hands like, whatever, fine. You think this is going to help? Have at it. Just leave us alone. And I also do think it's weird that, you could make the argument of a duopoly. And we do have an administration who loves to go after antitrust and anti-competitive things, but government really kind of stayed out of this one, surprisingly. And I do think the government has a little bit stake in it because conspiracy theory-wise, I do think the government loves that everyone uses their credit card, so they kind of just want everyone to get along between retailers and payment networks, so maybe they kind of laid out a little bit. Because again, you use your credit card, you use your debit card, what have you, it's basically like walking around with an Apple AirTag. They can track all your money very easily, but that's my conspiracy theory. So again, I don't think it's going to change a whole lot, for anything. It's not even really that much of a savings, but it does feel like somewhat of a win, probably the best they were going to get. 5 years. Maybe buy stores and merchants more time to see what other alternative forms of payment even come up. We've talked about some of them here. That FedNow service they were talking about. Is there a way that, a Venmo or PayPal and those guys can kind of slide in and say, hey, we can make it advantageous for customers to just like Venmo you in the store like they would, tap to pay or something like that. So a lot can happen in 5 years. So it might be a little bit of breathing room while we see what other emerging payment networks come out. But overall, I don't think that's that big of a deal. I would just now watch out for increased fees depending on what type of credit card you're using. If you've seen some, definitely let us know because we would be interested to hear about that down below. Now, speaking of fees, guess what's getting another fee? An American Express card. The American Express Hilton Business Card has been refreshed. And funny enough, last Thursday we just did a Q&A and one of the questions was asking me about this card. And of course I said, they don't seem in a big hurry to refresh it. And then sure enough, they refreshed it. So here you go. Take a look at it. It's got the brand new card art design that all the other Hilton cards have, as you would imagine. But in addition to a new paint job, we have a new annual fee of $195. I believe the old one was like $95, so it's quite the price hike. Multipliers here, 12x back on Hilton purchases, 5x back on all purchases up to the first 100K a year, then 3x cap after that, typical Amex fashion. So you lose all the 6x categories you used to have. Benefits, Hilton Gold status, you can still get Diamond with 40K and spend a year. No foreign transaction fees, you get National Rental Cars Emerald status, and you get a $240 Hilton credit paid as a $60 per quarter, so you got to use it or lose it type deal. So you're losing your priority pass. You're using those 6X categories you had. The free night award is gone. So if you sign up for this card now, you would hit the new annual fee. For people who have the card, it takes effect in July. So depending on when your renewal date is, you might get a little bit lucky. So if your renewal is before July, you can renew it the old annual fee. Then it's probably worth keeping it because those Hilton credits are easy enough to use. Now the real question here is about that award night. There are people who were spending towards that, especially with tax payments and stuff. Are they going to get that credit? It's not necessarily clear right now what they're going to do with that, killing the award night like right in the middle of the year, so to speak. So I don't think this is better. I didn't love the old version, but I think the old version was potentially a nice sweet spot card for a lot of people, meaning that for $95, you could have a level of priority pass. I think maybe even you got passes with it. If you wanted to spend towards the free night awards, you could. I think there's a lot of people who just dump their taxes on it maybe. If they weren't going after an intro offer, that could have made sense. And then you got gold status. But I haven't been high on Hilton Gold since they got rid of like that breakfast and made it a food and beverage credit. But again, I don't really go many places, so I don't know. You can decide what my opinion is worth on that. I don't know if I'd spend $40,000 to get the diamond. If you want to do that, it would be probably more advantageous to just get the Hilton Aspire. So I don't think this is great. At least the Hilton credit is usable, but I think we're seeing more of these cards hike the annual fee, not really giving you anything in exchange, but at the same time they want to encourage use, and I think a lot of these guys are just tired of their cards just sitting around and not being used. So I don't think this is as terrible as everyone's saying, but I also don't think it's amazing either. But it's just typical American Express move, I guess. Here's some more credits and coupons. Again, at least these ones are more manageable. I'm actually surprised they didn't throw other coupons on it, like a Resi or something like that. So, at some point, I think if you go to Hilton's like once a quarter and they're like decent Hiltons, then you're probably just better off moving to the Aspire or something, as crazy as it sounds, even though that's a $550 card versus this card. This card just doesn't seem like it does enough for anyone anymore at $200, right? Like that's kind of the problem. I'm kind of looking at it now. I'm like, well, who would I recommend this for? Well, before with the $95 card, I could recommend that to people who wants a level of status to a degree and priority pass on occasion. Like, okay, sure. This one at $200, it's almost like too in the middle and too unhelpful, but not totally terrible to recommend. I don't even know if this opinion makes sense, but that's the new refresh Hilton card. And also, weirdly enough, they didn't even come out with like an all-time high offer like we've seen in the past. There was like a standard offer, which is also disappointing, so we won't even talk about it on the second channel. But anyways, the story of the week probably belongs to Robinhood and the gold card. Yes, Robinhood has a gold card, which I'm knocking a point off already because there is only one gold card. Love it or hate it, and that is the American Express Gold Card. But Robinhood has a gold card. It does have a better trick. Some of them are made of solid gold. We'll talk about it, but here's what you get to start. So Robinhood has, as we said, the new gold card. That is what it looks like. Now, there is no annual fee, but much like the Amazon Prime card, you have to be a Robinhood Gold member. I believe you have to buy the annual membership, which is $50 per year, to get access to this card. Right now, it's just waitlisted. But your multiplier is going to be 3x back on all purchases. There is a 5x back via Robinhood Travel Portal. I can't imagine anyone here is going to be interested in that, but it's there. It's a thing. It's an option. There are no foreign transaction fees, so when you're showing off your gold card to some of the sheikhs or sheiks over in the Middle East, at least you won't get hit with an FTF. And there are some travel insurances to go along with that travel portal. Redemptions actually look to be no gimmicks. That's 1 cent per point. You can redeem out to your Robinhood brokerage account. I think you can put in the cash management account at 1 cent per point, and then from there you can send it wherever you want to, which is very nice. With a lot of things like this, you're looking for the gotcha moment. I don't really see a gotcha moment here. I don't think it's unreasonable to say I'm going to give you 3x back and everything, but it's a tie-in to the Robinhood service. You get some decent stuff. Sebi in his video had made a point of they give you $1,000 of interest-free margin. So you could actually take the margin of $1,000, throw it into something super safe like bonds maybe, and that could pay for the $50 by the end of the year and your return on bonds possibly. So if you're already using Robinhood, I think it's fine. I think this is more of a What's not really clear, we assume since Robinhood bought X1, this is like a rebrand and relaunch of the X1 card since they stopped taking applications and still aren't. But there are still people with the X1 card, so I would assume those would get converted over to this, or why would you stop taking X1 applications? Now, where's the gold card come into play? Well, the cards you get, and the Dave Hansen, the Hey There Dave here guy, who's probably the best video production around, has a full video. They sent him one. You should definitely go check it out because he shows the card and does his drop test and everything if you're interested. But the card itself is going to be stainless steel like the X1, except they are doing a 5,000 one that will be solid gold. I think they valued the gold at $1,100 or something, the price of gold at the time. And that's based on if you can get 10 people to sign up. I don't think you have to sign up for the card. I think you should have to sign up for Robinhood Gold and pay at least 1 month. So the free trial, then pay another month. You can get 10 people to do that. And you're already in gold yourself and get the card. They will give you a solid gold one. They're most definitely going to send you a 1099 form for it, which is weird because I think there's a rule in credit cards that are termed that say the card is the property of the company. So they could ask for it back anytime. They never do because it's not worth their time. But I wonder if they tweak that rule because if it's not actually your property, how could you be taxed? But I guess we'll find out when the big guys come. We did talk about it in the channel member Discord a while, if I was famous enough to be able to get the full gold card just for the fun of it and do a melting down video. But will I apply for this? No, because one, my goal is always 5% cards, as you know, so I don't think I'd get that much usage out of it. And number two, it doesn't have an intro offer, and I can't bring myself to open it because there's no intro. If there was an intro offer, I would have signed up already, but there's not, and I don't think there ever will be. They're clearly spending their marketing budget on the shock value of the gold cards. I don't think we'll see an intro offer on it anytime soon, if ever. Honestly, maybe down the road, years from now, they cave like Apple did, and they throw you $100, $200, whatever. But then I would probably do it for that. But no intro offer, no RJ. So again, I think if you're using Robinhood Gold and you're already getting benefits, then sure, why not? Because this card is clearly made for people who just want one card, maybe 2 cards, super simplified, 3% back on everything, redeemable at 1 cent per point. I think it's fine. There's also an argument to be made of, yes, you can take that 3%, put it in your brokerage account, and more than make back your $50 fee. So I don't think it's a terrible tie-in. I know I've seen some folks saying, hey, it's kind of like gotcha because they're not super on the nose or obvious with, hey, you have to have Robinhood Gold, but I don't think it's terrible as far as tie-in goes. I think it's fine. Again, the fee isn't that bad, so if you are a part of Robinhood Gold, let us know down below. If you are going for the gold card, the solid gold card, let me know. I would love to see it. We'll shout you out on the show with a picture or something. I just want to know one person who gets it. But overall, not too bad. Interesting and a full action-packed week, as we said. So that's been the news. If you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channels. We're posting content just like this every single week. And, of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And, of course, every single day over on profitablecontent.com. That is the channel's blog. Always linked down below for you. We have the latest news stories just like this, so you want to know about it action when it happens. That would be where to go. Of course, we have plenty of bank promotions, and we have credit card offers, and I'm happy to report none of ours are solid gold, but they all come with intro offers. Again, you should always be paid to open up a bank account or bank product, and all of our products do pay. So go ahead and check that out if you are interested. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon this week.